WCBI News at 5 starts now.
Breaking news tonight out of Pickens County. Pickens County law enforcement released the name of a man taken into custody after an officer-involved shooting last week. 47-year-old Fred Somerville is charged with abuse of a corpse, attempt to elude, theft of property, and reckless endangerment. Sheriff Chad Harless says other charges are possible. Somerville's bond was set at $1 million. The shooting happened in downtown Aliceville after officers were notified about a stolen car. Law enforcement tried to stop the vehicle, but it ended with an officer-involved shooting. The State Bureau of Investigation looked at 3 different crime scenes throughout that city. Officers and deputies found a dead body in the vehicle once it was stopped, which is not believed to be related in the officer-involved shooting. Harless says the person has been identified, but he would not release their name until all family members were notified. SBI continues to investigate that incident. Columbus police continue to search for a killer after a weekend shooting claims the life of a 16-year-old girl. Erica White was shot outside the Community Activity Center at Probst Park. A birthday party was being held at the time. Sources say that White was an innocent bystander when gunfire rang out after an argument broke out. A statement by Mayor Robert Smith says the police department's investigation has leads and has identified persons of interest. So far, no arrests have been made in the case. CPD has also not released any new information. In the wake of this past weekend's deadly shooting, Columbus is revamping its policies for renting community centers. Mayor Robert Smith says city facilities will now be equipped with security cameras, increased patrols, and enforcement of proper operation hours. There will also be an emphasis placed on the activities happening at the rented facilities. Erica White, again, was attending a Sweet 16 birthday celebration at an activity center there at the park when she was shot. Smith did not give a timeline on when some of the security procedures would be in place. The city does have a party permit ordinance, but city property follows its own set of guidelines. The Columbus community still, as you can imagine, in shock after Erica Smith's shooting death. She was a Columbus High School student. Saturday night, again, shot and killed at Probst Park. Investigators think she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Erica was a student at the high school here in Columbus. The chief resource officer there says violence among young people is a growing issue. He says he believes it's a result of the cancellation of youth programs like DARE that instill certain values.
So you had to kind of build upon to those things at that young age, and and hope that you can kind of instill those things into their minds to at least allow them to think about things and know this information about them. But teaching them how to resolve problems and issues without resorting to guns, and that that's been the same throughout years. But I think a lot of it is that that we have pushed back.
Now we're going to hear more from Chief Johnson on this issue coming up tonight on WCBI News at 6. A homeless camp that has drawn complaints, businesses and landowners in Lee County's Auburn Road area is cleared out by the Sheriff's Department for months now. Homeless people have been setting up makeshift camps on a 5-acre piece of land right off Auburn Road. The Lee County Sheriff's Department has received several complaints about trespassing, drug activity, and other illegal activity in that area. Landowners gave the Sheriff's Department the okay to remove all items from the homeless camp. The Sheriff says many of the items discovered were stolen from area residents. Officials say getting permission from landowners and coordinating the eviction and cleanup is a pretty lengthy process.
Individuals are rambling through people's cars, kicking on doors, not knowing where they're at, and most of these people are not even from this particular area. And when you create an environment and welcome this kind of environment, then this is what happens.
We're about to move forward with our ordinance that we just passed for the unsightly trash and junk that we passed a few months ago. And we intend to initiate it on all of the properties through here that looked as if they're condemned.
Now, a meeting for concerned Auburn community residents is set for Thursday night at 6 p.m. at the Tom Bigby Electric Power Association offices that's located on Auburn Road. Time now to get a first look at our forecast. We'll send things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Keith, it's the start of a new work week.
Another work week, still the same old story here, Scott. Scattered storms, a live view in downtown Columbus. We are looking to the north. We actually have a band of showers and storms, wave number 1 here through Monroe County back into Clay County and Oktibbeha County. Heavy downpours, thunder and lightning, maybe some breezes over 40, and a secondary batch from Tishomingo County back towards Oxford. All of this rolling down to the southeast. Out ahead of those storms, it is warm and steamy, upper 80s to around 90, cooler 70s if you are seeing some of those storms and downpours. So scattered showers and storms this evening. Lows tonight should be down into the low 70s. And then we'll clear the system out here over the next 24 hours. Scott, great weather for a change midweek. More on that coming up.
A massive crowd gathered in San Juan today in what organizers say is the largest protest so far, calling for the resignation of Puerto Rico's governor. The embattled politician has been under fire following the leak of vulgar chat messages and allegations of corruption within his administration. CBS's David Bignot has been following the story for days. He has the very latest from those protests.
It was a sea of protesters, many carrying Puerto Rican flags, who shut down the main highway that links San Juan to the rest of the island. At times, it was difficult for emergency vehicles to get through. There was music and dancing. It felt like a parade. But along with the festive atmosphere was a serious message. They want Puerto Rico's Governor Ricardo Rosselló to resign immediately.
I know what you're here to do. You're here to protest. But why?
Well, I'm here for my country. I believe everyone has the opportunity, to overcome whatever we have suffered. And it is not okay that the people that we decided to be responsible for our country doing this.
On Sunday night, Rosselló tried to calm the tension, announcing on social media that he will not seek re-election, but he stopped short of resigning. That did not do much to appease Puerto Ricans who are angry over allegations of corruption, as well as leaked chat messages between the governor and members of his inner circle. Those messages included profane, homophobic, and sexist comments about political opponents and others. This is the 10th straight day of demonstrations, and more are expected later in the week. The message is clear. Protesters will not back down until the governor steps down. David Begnaud, CBS News, San Juan.
Many businesses, including the island's largest mall, closed ahead of today's demonstration. Here at home, the Republican candidates running for governor in Mississippi will square off in a televised debate. It's happening tomorrow. Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves, former Supreme Court Justice Bill Waller Jr., and State Representative Robert Foster will make their case to voters live. The televised debate is set for 7 p.m. Our sister station in Jackson, WJTV, is hosting the debate, but you can catch it right here on WCBI News again at 7 o'clock tomorrow. And a reminder, primary elections are on August 6th. A Mississippi Department of Transportation employee is hailed a hero after saving a man's life after a motorcycle crash. Daniel Rogers was recently awarded by the city of Tupelo for his quick actions. It's a day he says that's changed his life forever. He's just grateful he was at the right place at the right time. It was work as usual for Daniel Rogers. MDOT trucks were loaded. He was off to meet the rest of his crew. But on the morning of May 22nd, what was routine quickly turned into chaos.
I saw a motorcycle laying in the road. My first initial reaction was somebody lost their motorcycle off their truck or trailer. Then I saw that there was a gentleman laying in front of the motorcycle.
That man was Michael Page. Rogers says he was face down on the roadway.
He took about 2 ragged breaths and then quit breathing.
Trained in CPR, Rogers didn't hesitate to do everything in his power to get Michael Page breathing again. Rogers has been trained in CPR since he was 21. He was recertified 2 weeks prior to this accident.
He did not have a pulse.
This is the first time he's ever been in a life or death situation, and he always wondered how he'd know if and when his chest compressions were working. Then something miraculous happened.
All of a sudden, I felt the man's heart start pounding against my hands, and I realized then how I was going to know. But it was an amazing thing to feel life come back into someone.
Rogers was awarded a Tupelo Lifesaver Award. He says he's not a hero. He says he just wanted to do his part. Brother helping brother.
The award at Tupelo was great. The city council, I enjoyed it and was honored to receive that. But to hear that man's voice on the phone, that's what it was about. And knowing that he has a chance now where maybe he might not have had I not been there.
Left speechless, Michael's sister Nakia Page says a simple thank you will never be enough for giving her brother a second chance at life.
I don't even know if I have the words to just tell him how thankful I am for what he did, because he didn't have to stop. You know, he could have kept going, but I am so grateful. My family is grateful. We are very grateful that he did what he did.
Yeah, brave act there for sure. Now, Michael suffered a severe head injury, and he's in a rehabilitation center in Arkansas.